So we are starting to see a bit of a move up on Bitcoin. It did break above that resistance line, and MSTY, CONY, and HOOY definitely like that move up. Hello, my friends, this is Legend. So as you can see, Bitcoin did break above that 64.7 line that we drew in the other day. And we had that line drawn in here because it was a previous support line when we roll back the chart here. So we drew that line in and we were needing Bitcoin to break past it and hopefully stay above it. Well, it ended up breaking past it yesterday. And for today, we are opening and staying above that 64.7. So hopefully that will now become our new support line. And because of this pop up on Bitcoin, MSTY, CONY, and HOOY moved up quite nice today. And we're going to take a look at those. But before we jump over there, if you don't mind, hit that like button as it would help the channel out. So let's take a look at MSTY and let's see what happened with MSTY and did it move up because Bitcoin went up today. And here we are on MSTY. Now, the previous video we had mentioned that it was trying to turn around and it was somewhat just trading sideways. But because of that move up on Bitcoin, MSTY did pop up, right? Because the close on Friday was 1733. And then the open for today was 1832 with a high of 1866 before closing at 1811. That's a good pop up on MSTY. And it's all because we're seeing that move up on Bitcoin. And if we can keep Bitcoin above that previous resistance line and make it our new support line, I think we're going to see MSTY follow Bitcoin a bit more. You can see down here on the MACD, we are getting close to crossing over that signal line. And it's still got a little bit to go before we can cross over, but you can see that it is turning up and the red bars here are getting smaller. So I'm hoping that we can get this cross, start getting some green momentum bars, and we can watch MSTY start moving back up. Now, just a note, you can see over here on MSTY, it actually moved up 4.5% just today. Now, it is a red candle because it closed below the point that it opened. But from Friday's close to today's close is still up 4.5%. A very sweet move on MSTY. But let's check out CONY as it did pop up as well. And here we are on CONY. And you can see CONY was starting to try to turn around as well. And we here are seeing that MACD trying to cross over again. Now, that momentum bars here is decreasing on that red side. So I'm hoping to see some green come tomorrow. And hopefully we can get that MACD to cross over that signal line. And that would help to signal a move up on CONY. And you can see on Friday, we had a close of $21. And today we opened at $22.02. We went as high as $22.47. Whoa, right? Crazy. But then we ended up closing at $21.98. So that's a 98-cent move in just today. And that's a 4.67% bump up from Friday. I'll take that for sure. That's a very nice move on CONY. And like I said, if Bitcoin can continue moving up, I think we're going to see these move up as well. And the last one I wanted to take a look at here is HOOY. And here we are on HOOY. Now look at this one. Again, a very nice pop, right? On Friday, we closed at $29.86. Today, we opened at $31.34. We went as high as $31.90 before closing at $31.33. That's a $1.47 move up on HOOY. Oh, love it, right? That's a 4.9% move up. Now, when I looked at it earlier this morning, these were close to about 7% up, right? So we were way up on these high yield ETFs that do follow Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin here pulled back just a little bit, so did the others, right? But we still are up quite nice on all three of these. Now, one thing I did want to mention, and I've said this a few times in the comments and other videos, but some of the differences that I think we're seeing is that these high yield ETFs are now starting to see a little bit more of that price appreciation, right? Before, we would not see much of a price appreciation. Now, we would get higher distributions, but at the cost of not getting that price appreciation. Now, we're starting to see a bit more of that price move. And this is a perfect example right here. Once again, zoom right in on this. You can see Friday where we did close right here. And that close was at $29.86. Now, over the weekend, this thing popped, right? And opened at $31.34. Now, previously, we would not get any kind of pop-up like that over the weekend. If it did move up, it would pretty much start about right where the previous close was, right? Over the weekend, you wouldn't see a pop-up of 4% or 5% or anything like that, right? It would just pretty much open up where the other one left off. And if it went up, so be it, right? It would move up. But if you had that pullback, it would pull back. And you would end up being lower or less in the price than you were on the previous day. But now that we're starting to see more of that price movement, we're actually seeing these things jump, right? These prices are closing at $1 amount and then jumping 4% overnight, in this case, over the weekend, and popping up and following that underlying. Now, HOOY does not use Bitcoin as the underlying. It uses HOOD. But we can take a look at HOOD, and I can show you it looks very familiar to HOOY. And here we are on HOOD. And you can see we had a pop-up of just today of 5.29%. So HOOY popping up a total of 4.92 and HOOD popping up 5.29, that's a pretty close comparison between the two. Now, before, whenever we would have a move up on that price, that high yield ETF would get capped out and we would maybe move up about 3%. But after that, honestly, you wouldn't see much more of a move up. Now we're starting to see these things move up 5%. Like I said this morning, I saw some of them up 7% or so. We would never see anything like that previously. But now we're starting to capture more of that price movement, and that's helping to get rid of some of that NAV decay because it's able to hold that price, move it up, and still pay out a distribution. Because on HOOY, remember, we got paid out 35 cents right here, and it did not move down in that price. It actually went up on Friday. And then on Monday, we had another pop up, right? So that's what I'm saying as far as in these high yield ETFs. A lot of these, we're seeing more price comparison to the underlying. So when the underlying moves up 5-6%, we're seeing the high yield ETF that correlates with it move up 4 to 5%, right? So it might be about 1% off. And in this case, between HOOY and HOOD, it's less than 1%, but I think you get the idea. That price is popping up more than I have seen in the past. So they definitely have changed how they are managing these high yield ETFs and helping that price to not just go down. Right? If that underlying is going to go up, the high yield ETF seems to want to also move up very close to that same percentage amount. Not exact, but it's pretty close. And if we want to look at another example, I can compare CONY with its underlying, and that's Coin. And here we are on Coinbase. So you can see on Coinbase, it popped up 6.16% today. And CONY went up 4.67%. So as you can see, CONY went up quite nice compared to Coinbase. Now, Coinbase looks like it actually went up about 1.5% more than CONY, but still, look at that pop-up, right? We are getting those pop-ups just like the underlying is getting that pop-up. And you can just look at the candle and not even look at the price. You can see there's that gap from Friday to Monday. And then we look at that gap from Friday to Monday on CONY. Very similar. So if we can continue to see Bitcoin moving on up, that next resistance line that I would love to see it get to is about 71.5. Now that's got a little ways to go. That's a big resistance line. And that's that 71.5 that we were trying to stay above it previously. And after we did break down below it, now it is a resistance line that we have to break past to get on to the next hurdle. Now, there are other resistance lines throughout, right? But that 71.5, that's a big one. If we can get above it, then we're going to start seeing these move on up for sure. Now, of course, none of this is financial advice, and this is only my opinion, as I cannot tell the future. But the fact that we do have a cross on the MACD for Bitcoin, and we do have a nice little trend going up on those candles for Bitcoin, that's some good positive signs that hopefully we can continue this move up and also have MSTY, CONY, and HOOY moving on up as well. So I'm super excited about that move today. It was quite a shock to see it jump that much. So I sent out a notification to my Discord members letting them know that both HOOY and CONY was on a move. But I also mentioned that AMD was just again on fire. Now I know we were going to end with that, but just for fun, let's just take a look at AMD. And here we are on AMD. And you can see, look at this. AMD jumped up 6.6% today. Look at this pop, right? From Friday, a close of 54.17, and it opened today at 56.72, went as high as 58.77, and closed at 57.75. What a move on AMD. This thing has just been on fire because AMD has just been on a rocket ship as of late. So I'm super excited about all of this, and I just cannot wait for these to keep on moving. If we can keep Bitcoin up and moving up, we're going to see some good moves on these high yield ETFs. And that's just going to help my real price per share, because as that price increases and I continue to decrease my real price per share by capturing those distributions, and if that continues on, I'll be able to flip CONY and HOOY to green before you know it. Might take some time, but that's okay. I've got patience. And speaking of that real price per share, this sheet is what I'm talking about. This is how I track that real price per share. As you can see, that total gains actually had a nice pop up today, right? These are unrealized gains, but it did have a nice move up from yesterday's video. But as CONY increases in that market price and I continue to lower my real price per share by capturing those distributions or buying shares that's under that real price per share, that only helps to lower that real price per share and narrows that gap between that market price and my real price per share. So eventually that market price will be above my real price per share. And when that happens, it turns that cell green. And that means that if I were to sell those shares at that market price, I would make a profit. Now this sheet is available to my Discord members. If you would like to get a copy, come on over, join the Discord. That link is in the pinned comments in the description below, where you can get a copy of this sheet from the Discord channel. And all you'll have to do is make a copy so that you can edit it, and then you can enter in your own high yield ETFs, enter in your purchase prices, your distributions, and so forth, so that you can find out what your real price per share is and whether or not you're actually profitable in that trade or not. It helps to track all of that for you. And all you have to do is enter in your trades. Pretty simple, once a week, and the sheet is updated. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and smash the like button, as it would be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.